Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new Ninjago video here on the channel. My name is TannerFishies. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the new Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 3 Part 2 set known as the Temple Bounty. This is set number 71848. This one retails for $200 US and contains 2,387 pieces. Now this is the Temple Bounty, the most recent Destiny's Bounty as of the time of recording this video. As of summer 2025, this is the most recent bounty. We've seen several Destiny's Bounty sets before from LEGO and Ninjago, many of which I've had before. So for this one, I was very much hoping for something new, something unique, something different with the Destiny's Bounty concept, and I'm happy to say this set is rather unique, and I felt a different kind of vibe when building this one than I did for other Destiny's Bounty sets. There are a lot of awesome features here that I enjoy, a lot of excellent color choices and piece choices as well, but I will be sure to point out some negatives as well. I think there is one major negative holding this build back from being truly perfect. We will talk about that more momentarily as well. Of course, like my other LEGO reviews, this is not going to be a professional review, not by any means. I do not have any of the professional equipment to review this set properly. I just do what I can with what I have, and I just review what I buy. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here is my review of the Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 3 Part 2 Temple Bounty. First of all, for the box, this is the front of the box, and the back of the box is the back of the box. Nothing new about the box. Moving on. So, starting off with minifigures. First things first, let's take a look at this one. This is Ghost Hunter Zane, or Spectral Zane, or Temple Zane. No matter what you call this guy, he is ultimately exclusive to this set, which is kind of unfortunate. I'm not the biggest fan of when the common ninja variants are locked behind expensive sets like this. Unfortunately, Zane is not the only exclusive figure either. More on that momentarily. But in terms of this figure, he's just okay. I've talked about this figure more extensively in a previous video looking at all of the new suits, so if you haven't seen that video, check it out to get more of my in-depth thoughts on this guy. Not the biggest fan of the dark red on the legs, unfortunately. I think that's a very, very weird choice. Otherwise, the armor looks good. Love the armor. Zane comes with two golden katanas as his weapons, and for the face underneath, that is nothing new. That is the same face that's been used for Zane since Sons of Garmadon. So that's going to pretty much do it for my thoughts on Ghost Hunter Zane. Like I said, check out my full Ghost Hunter Ninja showcase for more of my specific thoughts. Next up here, we have Ghost Hunter Cole. Now this figure, again, I have some issues with. If you've seen my full Ghost Hunter Ninja showcase video, you would know what problems I have. But really quick, not the biggest fan of the colors on this guy. Again, the dark red on the legs just looks very ugly in my opinion. Same with the gunmetal gray arms. Don't know why they made that decision. Just too many colors. Cole also does not have a headband, unfortunately, in this set, so that's, again, not very good. But what is good is the gigantic reveal blade that he comes with. That is still a nice transparent red sword there. Very, very cool. If you look closely, if you angle it right, you can even see Cole's reflection in the blade. That is very awesome. I think there's a lot of really awesome things that can be done with that part. Unfortunately, as it stands, like I've been saying, Ghost Hunter Cole is not my favorite Cole ever. Might be one of my least favorite Coles that we've seen in a while. Next up, we have Wildfire. She comes in this set, and I literally have nothing new to say about this figure because it's been in so many sets that I've talked about on this channel. It's the same Wildfire that we've been getting since last year, so nothing new, except she still does not have the shoulder pads, and she comes with a golden katana. Terrific. Again, I just have nothing to say about this figure. Moving on. Next up here, we have Ghost Hunter Nia, which, as I'm sure you guys know, is another figure that I have a lot of issues with. First of all, again, the color distribution is all kinds of whack. Nia uses a bunch of blue up top, not so much on the bottom, making the distribution of the colors very awkward. Top half is blue, bottom half is gray. Unfortunately, yeah, not the biggest fan of that combination. I do like the dark red though. The dark red on Nia doesn't bother me since she's used dark red before, but again, I've talked enough about this figure already in past videos. For weapons, Nia has 2 golden katanas, nothing really new there either, so yeah, Ghost Hunter Nia. She is another one that is exclusive to this set, kind of. She does come in another set, but without the armor. The full figure with the armor and everything is exclusive to this set, unfortunately. What an ugly figure to keep locked behind a $200 paywall. Next up here, we have Rogue, aka Jay from Dragon's Rising Season 3. Very nice figure to be included in this set. I still am a huge fan of this design. Not as cool as the evil Jay from Season 2 Part 2 during the Tournament of the Sources, but still awesome design for Jay/Rogue. I still really enjoy this figure. There's nothing new about this figure, same Rogue that comes in a few other sets, but definitely not a bad figure to have duplicates of. He has his classic dual weapons here, the little lightning daggers or the swords, whatever you want to call them there. And of course, taking off the hat super quick, you can see, or just angling him up, I guess, because the hat doesn't want to come off for some reason, you can see his awesome face underneath. Yeah, still very cool figure in my opinion. I like Rogue's design quite a bit. Happy to see him in this set, all things considered. And finally, for minifigures, we only have one bad guy in this set, unless you count Jay. We have Zarkt of the Forbidden 5, who I have looked at more extensively in my Forbidden 5 video, where I showcase all of the minifigures together, so check that out if you want more of my thoughts on this specific figure. As it stands, I like Zarkt quite a bit. I like his golden chains, his purple detailing, his headpiece, even though it's not super accurate to how it appears in the show. Of course, the face underneath is still awesome as well. Really enjoy that face printing on Zarkt. He does have an alternate expression as well. Love the back printing too. Overall, just a very, very good figure. Say what you will about the character, but at least his design is pretty cool. And for weapons, he actually comes with this nice chain with a spike on the end of it, I guess. So I guess it's appropriate considering all of the chains on Zarkt's person. So obviously, he would have a chain weapon. That's going to pretty much do it for Zarkt, and that's going to wrap it up for all of the minifigures. Only 6 figures in this set. They probably could have included more. Okay, so finally here we have the Temple Bounty all ready to go. Now, obviously, this is a very, very big set. It's kind of hard to fit it in my space here, so we are just going to have to make do. So no tripod for this segment of the video. Got to go handheld for this one. But overall, this is a very, very sweet looking bounty. The more I look at it, the more I love it. Very much going for kind of like a spooky ghost vibe as well, with all of these weird little blue pieces everywhere. We have some right there, some are coming out of the back. We have all of these blue colored lanterns everywhere too, including one at the very top of these very nice sails. Overall, just a very spooky bounty, which does remind me a lot of the Final Flight bounty from Season 5, way back in 2015. As you can see, we have all of the minifigures on here too. I have Wildfire driving, God help us all. We also have some folks on the deck here, which I love how the deck is constructed. There are a lot of points in there, a lot of just open studs to just put figures on, and there is still room on there too to put more, so that's awesome. I'm sure without weapons you could probably fit more figures in there. Right now it looks a little crowded just because everyone's got those massive swords and weapons, so gonna take some adjusting there, but you can get a nice display going on the boat, like just on deck, so that's awesome. Going on down the boat a little bit, you can also put figures over here too. We just have Zarkt just kind of chilling near the front of the boat. I'm not familiar with boats and the technical terms for what part of the boat the front is, but Zarkt is on the front of the boat there. We also have these weird little ghostly cards in a few spots. You can see one there. One is also up here. Not sure what those are supposed to be. We have 2 more up there as well. Your guess is as good as mine there. I will say the overall shape, the overall construction of the bounty, I really enjoy. I think it came out real well. Colors especially are awesome with the blacks, the browns, different shades of red, and the gold. Overall, just a fantastic looking design here. I do think, and we will be doing a quick comparison later, that the Ninjago movie bounty is still the better bounty overall, but I do really enjoy this design. I am very fond of this design, all things considered. I love the sails. Those are made out of the same fabric as the Guardian Dragon's wings and the Fire Knight Mech's cape. Very awesome design here for the sails. Love especially the huge Dragon's Rising logo there. The Source Dragon logo looking excellent. Like I said, you do have one of those lanterns up there too, but overall the sails are just amazing. Love how those look. I think the sails are much better on the new bounty than what we've seen for any other bounty. I will say though, the incorporation of the classic red dragon is a little bit different. Instead of being in the direct front, it's still kind of in the front, but on top, and it kind of sweeps around the entire top of the ship. I will say that's a cool idea. Some of the connection points are a little imaginative, I will say. Like here, for example, it doesn't connect. You just gotta like visualize that it does. Really wish it would have just connected there. That part right there looks a little unfinished. It just kind of looks like it's hanging on. You could probably adjust that even more to, complete the connected look, but I wish it was actually connected. Same thing can be said with this part right here. That's even more of a gap. So I'm not the biggest fan of how that's set up there. That looks a little weird. I do like the dragon head though in the front, and just turning the thing here to get a better look, that is a very nice dragon head, constructed again using a similar piece that we've seen for other dragons, including again the Guardian Dragon. Also have some nice horns on there too. The mouth can open and close if you really want it to. I like to keep it partially open though, but yeah, the dragon head, is a classic part of the bounties, obviously for Ninjago. This time it's just in a different position. You also have other detailing as well, like this sticker that says Temple Bounty, which a little on the nose, of course, but I guess appropriate. You also do have a Source Dragon symbol on the side of the boat here as well, so that's not too bad. I do love the little anchors here. They're not really attached to anything. They just kind of flop around and just kind of stay there, so do with those what you will, I guess. You also have this nice golden thing sticking out the front of the boat. Not sure what that's supposed to be, but it sure does look cool. But overall, yeah, the actual bounty on the surface is rather awesome. Oh, also on the back of the bounty, you have more of that awesome fabric used as well for this little feature. Not sure what you would call that, but we will talk about that more here in a second. One other thing that I like about the appearance of the boat is how it fits the name Temple Bounty. These look like little temples just on the bounty, just as they are, and I think that looks exceptionally good. It looks like a temple. It looks like a little temple city built on a boat. That's amazing. I think that's very awesome. Other bounties have kind of done that too with their little areas on the boat, but again, this is more so of a temple vibe. You would expect to see shapes like this maybe in an actual temple set. Not here. Here you see it on the boat, and it just looks really, really cool. I love how this looks overall. Let's move on to that action feature that I was talking about with this part of the boat. So going around to the back of the boat here, as you can see, we do have some other details that we will talk about here momentarily, but down here at the bottom, you have a gear. Not sure if you guys can see that gear down in there. You can actually do something with the gear, and this is pretty cool. Turning the gear will cause this section of the boat, same thing on the other side too, to actually close up and condense on itself. That is such a cool feature. And of course, you turn it the other way, it opens back up. That fabric there folds in on itself too. I am worried over time about how durable that fabric is going to be, but I love this feature. There are a bunch of gears built inside, obviously, and I'm sure you could hook up like a motor or something to this and make this feature more automatic, but as it stands, I love this feature. We've seen other bounties do something similar with like the jet mode or whatever, like the flight mode, but I think this bounty pulls it off the best. I really enjoy how that function works, and I love the fabric used in it. Other things that you can do for whatever reason, you can adjust the sails if you really want to, which, not sure why you would. This one doesn't really adjust all that much, but the front sail and the back sail you can move those, reposition those if you really want to. But all in all, I really enjoy the outer shape of the bounty. I think it looks beautiful. I might be modifying a few parts of it, honestly. I do kind of want to put the dragon head more in front, like it is in the show. But all things considered, I am very much happy with how this turned out. I'm not the biggest fan of these little ghost wisp things, like the little blue things. I might get rid of those, but the lanterns can stay. But for right now, let's take a look at the inside of the boat. So I guess another reason why this set might be called the Temple Bounty is because it is kind of modular in the sense that you can remove stuff to access the inside of the boat. For example, this whole chunk of roof just kind of comes off like that, I guess, and I suppose that's why the dragon isn't connected. But other parts come off too, like this whole section can be taken off, and that's like its own thing independently. And after separating pretty much all of the components, this is what you're left with, plus the big middle component that we will talk about here momentarily. But first, for the 4 smaller components, let's talk about them. So this part is kind of like the main deck section. As you can see, we have a couple of details here, lantern and some fish there, and of course the gigantic sail with the middle part, or no, that's the end of the dragon for whatever reason, with the middle sail, of course. Probably my least favorite component out of all of them. This one is more so the back of the actual temple section itself here, the back of the boat with the final sail. Very nice construction here. Like I said, very temple-like. You do have the steering wheel up front, and inside the little building there's a little telescope in there that does stick out the back as well. So overall, that's that section. Just a nice little, I guess, recon area. This one right here is the front of the entire boat. The lead sail, of course, is on this section too. And flipping this one around, as you can see just in there, just another little watch station, I guess. You do have, I think that's a crossbow in there or something like that. It's hard to say. And this middle section here is kind of like the main bridge, I guess you could say. Taking a look in there, we have a map laid out on the table. We have a letter and a quill back there to write with. So awesome stuff there. You can totally set up a whole scene here with the minifigures. You can put someone on this little perch right here too. Same thing on the other side, and flipping around the back, as you can see, we have this nice window with some decorative swords and a sticker down there which depicts 2 dragons. And after you take all of the temple modulars off, this is pretty much what you are left with, just a normal base. However, there are some things going on inside. Let's take a look. So first of all, not sure how well this is coming across, but in the back we have a little sleeping area here featuring some hammocks, so that's nice. Not sure what's going on there. Looks to be maybe a Lego set and a waffle. Not a bad life to live at all. Same thing on the other side, same hammock, but there we have a clock. That is another sticker on the clock. Hooray for that. Up in this section, we have a little food section. There is some sushi being served here, I guess, and some tea. Also some nice pictures on the wall. We have this one of Zane and Pixel with a flower, and over here we have something else going on. Not sure what that is. Looks to be maybe the first Spinjitzu master, maybe Master Wu. On the other side, we have more cooking utensils for the food service station thing, a video game little display, and over there, I think that's supposed to be a picture of Aaron and Ryu, so that's kind of cute. Moving on a little bit more up this way. It's kind of hard to see down in there, but there is a training dummy, some weapons, and some more pictures, all of that good stuff. I think this middle section also disconnects, at least the instructions say that it does, but I could not figure out how to do it. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. All things considered though, this boat is kind of fragile when you try to move stuff around, which let's talk about that really quick. It's one of my main issues with this boat overall. Yeah, so putting the entire thing back together, I do want to talk about the fragility of the entire thing. It is very fragile. I've had multiple parts of this fall off on me during the filming of this video, making the entire process very frustrating. Again, the modular aspect of it is cool, and we've seen other bounties do that before, of course, where they have like a fully fleshed out interior that you can get to. You just got to take off some of the other stuff. This bounty has it too, obviously. We just looked at it, but it's not as smooth as other bounties, I would say. This entire boat is very, very finicky and very fragile, making it not that fun to mess around with, which isn't, you know, the best thing ever to say about a $200 Lego set. You would want the actual model to be solid and stable, but a lot of things have fallen off. A lot of these bottom parts have fallen off here. Various chunks of the roof came flopping off during the filming of the modular segment of the video. I've had parts of the dragon fall off, lanterns fall off, these little things keep flopping off too, so I don't want to lose any of those. Same thing with these pieces, which is another reason why I don't think they are very necessary. But overall, it looks cool, it looks fine. I'm happy with the shape of it overall. I just feel like getting into the inside is kind of more complicated than it needs to be, but fortunately, I'm probably never going to be checking out the inside of this boat after this video is over, because I don't plan on displaying this boat, taken apart like that. Another option that you have here involves the included stand that you also build up. Yep, you can put the boat on the stand. And I guess this is supposed to be the bounty taking flight or lifting off or something. It's another display option. It is kind of hard to get the bounty on the stand, and I don't think I did it right, but this is kind of what you're supposed to be using the stand for. It's okay, I guess. I just don't really think I'm gonna ever use the stand like this. I kind of really don't need the bounty to be on the stand. Now, for those that don't know, the Ninjago movie bounty is my favorite Ninjago set ever. How does the new bounty stack up to the old Ninjago movie bounty, which is my current favorite bounty? Well, I mean, it's definitely another bounty. I don't think it compares to the Ninjago movie bounty in the sense that the old bounty from the movie is more solid, more sturdy, more classic feeling as well. Also, there's more stuff going on, I feel, on the deck than the new one. The new one, if you don't have figures on it, feels kind of bare, and while the old one is definitely bare to an extent as well, I don't think it's as empty as the new bounty feels without minifigures. I feel like there's also more room to put minifigures on the older bounty. The old one works better in a display, and I do think the Ninjago movie bounty is still the best bounty out of all of them. But still, the temple bounty is doing a lot right too. I love the ghost vibe. I love the sails on the temple bounty. I think those sails are a lot better than the sails on the movie bounty. And I like the action feature on the temple bounty. Don't get me wrong here, the temple bounty is still a very good set in its own right, but I still think the movie bounty is probably better, and I will say I still prefer it a lot more than the temple bounty. And really quick, before we wrap up, here we have the spare parts, the spent sticker sheet, and the instruction booklet. You do get a brick separator as well. So to wrap up my thoughts and give you guys my final judgment on this set, the Temple Bounty, I think this is a very, very good set. There's a lot to love here, but there's a lot to criticize too. I don't think the minifigure selection is the strongest. I don't think the build itself is as sturdy nor as stable as it probably should be for a $200 set. I'm not the biggest fan of the modular aspect, but I do respect what the designers were going for in making it like that. And there are a few other design choices that I find a little questionable about this set. However, there's a lot to love here too. I love the sails. I love the overall presence of the bounty. I love the idea of there literally being temples built on the bounty. That is such a cool idea. And I love the color scheme. I think this set is very successful, and I do like it a lot more than most other bounties out there. I wouldn't say it's the best Destiny's bounty though. I do prefer, again, the Ninjago movie bounty, but I'd say this one is at least better than the Final Flight bounty and the Ninjago Legacy bounty. But overall, this is a very good set, a very solid set. Would definitely recommend this one. I think there's a lot to love. For sure, more positives than negatives, like by far. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. That's going to pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here on the Temple Bounty. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. I know sometimes my reviews, especially for the bigger sets, are a little chaotic and hard to watch, so apologies there. However, I really enjoy this set. Feel free to leave your thoughts down below in the comments. What exactly do you guys think? Do you like this set? Do you not like this set? Why or why not? And I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys enjoyed this one, feel free to like and subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I will talk to you guys again very, very soon. Peace.